Welcome back to the Law Show. I'm Mike McLeod. I'll be with you throughout the course of this segment of the show. And this morning, we're answering some questions that we've received over the last couple of weeks. And I think we've got time to get through the end of these questions that we have from viewers of the Law Show. Again, the show is brought to you by all of the lawyers with Kerrigan, Estess, Rankin, McLeod&Thompson. Our law firm has been practicing in Northwest Florida for 40 years. Bob Kerrigan, George Estess, Bill Rankin, Randy Thompson, and myself have limited for most of that time our practice and legal work to representing people who've been injured in accident. We've never really done other types of good things that lawyers do, like helping people with estate planning or real estate work or business transactions or family law matters or criminal defense. We've always wanted to do trial work and do this type of litigation work. And we have offices in Pensacola, Crestview, and Panama City that are available to our clients. And we represent people across Northwest Florida who've been injured in accidents. And we've done this for a long time. And we've hosted the Law Show over many years and hope that it's a benefit to our viewers and our clients and people who watch the show. And we've set up a system whereby we can communicate somewhat with you. And we read your text and your emails every week. And this morning, we're going to try and answer some of the questions that we've gotten over the last couple of weeks. Again, if you want to contact us with a question or a comment about the show, you can text us at 850-444-4444. During the week or even after hours, we can. That's our main phone number across Northwest Florida, 850-444-4444. And my email address is mike.mcleod@kerrigan.com. All right, let's get back to some of our questions submitted. How long should it take to settle my auto accident case, car accident case? How long should it take to settle the case? Well, this depends, I think, on a lot of different factors. Each case is different. Some cases where fault is disputed can take some time to gather witnesses and evidence that proves for our client that the other person was at fault, and that takes a little bit of time. The thing that takes, I think, the most time in most cases is we don't want to consider settling our client's case or making a decision about what our client's compensation should be until we know exactly how the injury from the accident is going to affect our client into the future. So some cases, it's just crystal clear. This is the injury. These are the damages. This is what the compensation should be. And those things are revealed within a few months even of an accident. But it's more likely that and more common that people, and we want people to treat with their good doctors and work hard to try to get better. No amount of money that we get people in these settlements and results is better than having your good health back. So we always encourage our clients to work hard to get better, follow your doctor's advice, do whatever you can do to get yourself better after an accident. But sometimes people don't get better. And sometimes people have critical lifelong injuries from severe accidents. And in those cases, we just don't know within a few months how that's going to affect people. And also, the medical providers for those people want to have an opportunity over sometimes a period of years to make these people better following their accident. So those are the cases that take a little bit more time, because we're not going to settle your case we're not going to let the insurance company, and insurance companies want to settle the case right away because it's cheaper for them. That sometimes they throw people a little bit of money, and people can be desperate when they're not able to work. I mean, they're trying to survive, but it's really best, if at all possible, to wait until your medical treatment is either completed or there's a clear picture of what your future is going to hold before you or your lawyer considers trying to attempting to settle the case. So one other factor that sometimes affects how long a case will take, and that was the question, how long should it take to settle my case, is the amount of insurance coverage available. So it's not uncommon in Florida or other states for people who cause accidents to have limited insurance coverage. So, for example, a person can have a bad injury, and the person who's at fault and responsible for the accident has modest insurance coverage. And sometimes those cases get resolved sooner because there's only so much insurance coverage available. And in those cases, we next look to the client's uninsured motorist coverage, and we've talked about that on the Law Show before, because that's a second layer that we look for compensation to people who have significant injuries. The at-fault driver doesn't have enough insurance coverage to fairly compensate you, so we look to the client's own insurance policy, hoping that they have uninsured motorist coverage and hoping they have good limits of uninsured motorist coverage. We've talked about this before on the show. Uninsured motorist coverage is coverage that you can add together on your vehicles if you choose stacked uninsured motorist coverage. So it'd be a great and wise thing for people watching the show this morning to pull out their declarations page and see if they have uninsured motorist coverage, see if it's stacked. It's coverage you buy on your own insurance company. It doesn't pay the other guy. It pays you in case the other guy doesn't have good insurance. So in cases, as far as how long does it take to settle a case, to settle my case, it depends on a lot of things, but sometimes the amount of insurance that is available can affect whether the case can get resolved sooner rather than later. All right, here's another question. What are subrogation rights? What are subrogation rights? So in our cases, and I think subrogation can apply to a lot of different things, but, and this surprises people sometimes a lot when they're getting their personal injury case settled and resolved. So if you are injured in an accident and you have health insurance that pays for your treatment and your medical care following an accident that was caused by another person, then your health insurance, you have this agreement with most people, everybody who's watching the show really mostly has a health insurance policy. If they have a health insurance policy, the health insurance company has a right of subrogation if you're injured in an accident and they've paid for your medical expenses following your injury. So for example, your agreement with your health insurance company is if I get sick, you'll pay my medical expenses. If I get hurt in an accident and I have medical bills as a result of that, you'll pay my medical expenses. But part of your agreement with your health insurance company is, well, if I get hurt and it's somebody else's fault and I recover money from that other person, then my health insurance company who had to pay these bills has a right to get some of what they paid for your medical expenses back. And where this comes up is when your case is settled for X amount of money, then part of that money that you settle, that your lawyer acquired for you, is going to go not to you, but to reimburse your health insurance company for the bills that they've paid as a result of the accident. And sometimes that surprises people. So we try to tell people about that right of subrogation your health insurance company has early in your case, so it's not a surprise to you. And then also when we are thinking about, well, what's a fair settlement for our clients? Well, we want to know, well, what were your medical bills? What did your health insurance company pay towards those bills? Because we want to factor that in. We don't want to be surprised by it. We don't want our clients to be surprised by it. And we have to, when we evaluate, well, what is a case fairly worth? Well, we have to know and want to know for our clients, well, what are they going to have to pay back to Blue Cross and Blue Shield or United Healthcare or whoever their health insurance, or Medicare has a right of subrogation. If Medicare pays towards your bills after an accident, then Medicare has a right to get their payments back out of your settlement or a portion of them. One other thing that lawyers can do to help in cases like this, and why people who are injured, seriously injured in accidents should consider hiring lawyers who are experienced, is that sometimes, in fact, most times, these subrogation claims with insurance companies can be negotiated. And we've literally negotiated thousands of them to the benefit of our clients. So, and there are different good arguments that can be made to health insurance companies depending on what the facts and circumstances of the case are. The client should have got more money. The client had to hire a lawyer and pay a contingency fee as a result. The client's going to have future medical care. So we always contact health insurance companies after a case is resolved or before a case is resolved, because I think we're required to do it. We want to protect the client's future health care. And so that's how subrogation rights fit into personal injury cases. I think we got time maybe for one more question. And we've kind of touched on this a little bit during the show today. Should I buy uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage? So we'll talk about underinsured motorist coverage mostly because I think we've already mentioned uninsured motorist coverage is coverage that you can buy on your own policy. It's money that insures you, not the other guy, in case the other guy who caused your accident has no insurance. And so it's something that we think people should really consider. And we know a lot about it because we are always looking for sources of money to compensate our clients in these serious accidents. And a lot of times the person who caused the accident doesn't have good coverage. It doesn't have any coverage or good coverage. But also, it's also underinsured motorist coverage, which means if the other guy who causes your accident has a $10,000 policy or a $25,000 policy or a modest policy of some kind, and your claim should be a lot more than that, well then the other guy's not uninsured, but he's underinsured for the damages that he or she caused. So your uninsured motorist coverage is also underinsured motorist coverage and can pay on top of what the other person's insurance might pay you as a result of an accident. I think these are all the questions we have during the last week or so, and we'll try to answer them in future weeks as well. I'm Mike McLeod. This has been The Law Show, brought to you by the lawyers at Kerrigan, Estess, Rankin, McLeod&Thompson. We specialize in accidental injury and wrongful death cases, and we'll see you again next week.